Good afternoon and welcome to a very sunny County Leitrim. Some time ago I exposed the top of the foundation stones down the one side of the house to start eliminating the damp or the rising damp in the bottom of the walls. So if you watch that video, let's have a look. Excuse the wind. You'll remember me digging out a load of soil and exposing the top of the foundation stones. Now in turn what that's done, all of the moss that was growing on the wall, that's all died, and a tiny little bit of green there, but on a whole that has all died. And we've noticed that that side of the kitchen wall, it was getting damp here up there, and that no longer gets damp because the air can now get down to the stones, dry them out and evaporate any moisture that's there. This wall is a lime rendered wall, so that works out how it should do. There's some render missing off that front left corner, and there's a patch missing there as well, but the lime work is still in really good condition. So anyway, that made a huge difference. We then went to the other end of the house. We then exposed the other end of the house, the foundation stones, and that too made a difference with the damp against the bottom of the wall in the living room. This is a north facing wall, and that's why Dawn always says she's in the shade when she's doing all of the repairs to that outbuilding, because she's never ever in any sun. So at the moment the moss and things still grow on this wall, holding in moisture, but that's made a difference too. So that means today, well, I say today, it'll be an ongoing job. So this is the front of the house now. The cornerstone there is exposed, just down there. That's the top of the cornerstone. So this is going to be dug out all along here, past the front door, and this is where I'm up to at the moment. Ultimately, we're thinking this patch here will also go. We're thinking that's just soil. This is a hard standing which we had scraped. You may have seen that video, and we were surprised to find that that's a tarmac surface, so it'll be interesting to see how far down it goes there. But at the moment I'm just out to remove the soil which is up against the side of the house and to expose the top of the foundation stones. So that's me, and Dawn continues to lime. It is a gorgeous day. There's Dawn.
A bit different than yesterday.
Very different to yesterday.
Yeah.
Dawn has the patience of a saint, because I would have been bored by now.
For some things I do. I'm not very good at waiting.
Yeah, you don't like waiting.
No, I'm not.
No, you don't like waiting.
Waiting just frustrates me.
Yeah.
But things like this I have lots of patience for.
But you've seen lots of this last couple of weeks. I said in the last video that I felt I hadn't really done very much. So now I'm doing something. So we'll see how it goes. I should be able to get the foundation stones exposed without too much trouble. There will be people saying that's the wrong shovel to use, that's the wrong spade, that's the wrong this, that's the wrong other, you need this, you need that.
I was just about to say good morning, but I think it's actually afternoon now. And I'm just going to start again. We've had a little it's raining. It's supposed to not rain today, but it is anyway. And I will show you my modified setup. I'm now on the scaffolding and not just trestles. And I will walk you up the road and I'll show you what it's like where we've got the tarps, and pretty much keeps the wall dry and me, so it's quite handy. Right, so here's the setup. We stick a light on this end here overnight. So there's the trestles, which I've now outgrown. I am up to where this load of ivy is. I've just come where you can see actually the difference in colour where I've gotten up to, and now I've got lots of ivy to get off here. I'm now reaching the precarious parts, but I have had the hard hat on since getting closer and closer. But I thought you might like to see the setup as looks quite professional. Look at that. Can you see I've never done anything like this before, because things like this please me. But anyway, I will stick you up there or over here somewhere maybe, and you can have a watch. I've got a little patch just to finish liming from yesterday, and then I will be on to some more ivy cutting. Here we go. I spared you the limbo under the scaffolding there, but I thought you could see. I'll take his glass off because I can't see the screen. You can see the extent of where the ivy goes, and if you've watched the video where we cleared out the inside of this building, you'll see that every single wall was covered in ivy, these ivy tendrils. And it's because all of this had grown up from outside this big patch that ran down to the ground. It had grown over every single wall. The floor was just like a carpet of all of this, where it had cascaded down the walls and then across the floor. But yeah, you can see where it goes up under the concrete there that holds on the galvanised roof, or should have held on the galvanised roof. But now I'm up a bit higher, you can see just how thick it is. And these are the couple of stones that are a little bit, so we'll probably take off all along there the stones, because try and reseat them. There looks like a patch that's possibly been pushed in, maybe by the ivy, maybe it was built like that, I'm not sure, but we'll address that, look at that when we get to it. But anyway, I thought you might like to have a closer look at the ivy and the damage it causes. It's all into here, and that's how comes it's obviously grown out through the other side, all down the walls, and there's the little window there. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous of this. I think it's healthy to be a bit nervous, but I'm just gonna take it bit by bit, repair what I can repair, and then up here I don't think this is just repairable in situ. It's going to need removing and rebuilding that bit. I'll change to a paintbrush for getting rid of the dust and bits. The higher up I go, where it's a little bit, I don't know if it's a good idea blasting air into the heart of the building, so I thought if I just use a paintbrush to get out anything, and I'm not disturbing anything else further in the building.
So under the edge of the concrete render, just down there, you can actually see the actual stones the wall are built with, and you can see how much soil is wedged up against those stones. So it's no wonder you get damp along the where the skirting boards used to be, but since long rotted.
Good morning. We're actually the next day to the little bit you will have already seen. It ended up being a bit of a write-off in the end yesterday. Getting the right levels on this just meant by the time I've got it sorted, got the mix back up again, because there'd been that much time in between, it was nearly time to go in and start dinner, because it was curry night last night, so I had a bit more preparation for that. But as a result, it did give us a chance to have a bit of a downtime, discuss how we're going to do this, have a quick look at the bit around there where the route is. So in hindsight, it was actually quite handy. But I'm back to it today. Get on with this. Put this on, because it's, I think I said yesterday, the higher up I get, the more you look at it and you think, oh, it's a little bit dodgy. I'd spare you the long drawn out process of me normally finding a stone. It takes ages. I found this one relatively quick.
So it looks like I was quite right not to just carry on raking and digging and raking and digging, because as it turns out there is a lot more rock than I thought there was, but we've sort of discovered how they built on the rock and made the foundations level. Right, so when I started, you can see all of the white stones, and this is the advantage, you're digging it all out. All of the white stones are now solid rock, forming part of the earth, and since all the soil's been taken off, the rocks have been drying out, the little bit of soil besides them is drying out, but most importantly, now the edge of the house is drying out. It's much lighter. The original lime you can see, which is scattered around, lots and lots of lime, the light patches, that was still wringing wet from the soil being up against it, but now I've taken the soil back, that lime has started drying out and is turning white. Now if I'd carried on just raking and raking and raking, what would have happened is I would have pulled out important stones like that one, which then gives a hole underneath, which means that stone over time could move and then cause cracks in the wall, and I'm talking over time, I'm not talking overnight. So basically it looks like they had the rock formation. I am guessing they will have broken some of this off to try and get a level, but in between the rocks they literally put lime down and bits of stone, pebbles, and that's why I'm pulling so much out as I'm sort of digging back, because those pebbles are making a level between the uneven rocks which go up and down like that. So I'm quite pleased I sort of did stop and take my time. There's a good example in here. So this is the rock, and there's a piece of the rock there, and then you can see they just put pebbles in, limed, and then put the actual stones for the wall on top of that. And you can see there the sandy colour, that's actually lime, and once that's dried out, and I've only uncovered that I think yesterday afternoon, evening, once that's dried out that should go a much lighter colour. But I know I harp on about French drains. We instantly thought when we bought the house that'd be alright, we'll put French drain around it. You can now see why it's not simple. These aren't rocks that can be removed. These are parts of the earth. It's hard to explain. It's also hard to give you an idea of how big they are. But just this little bit this morning, we've got the rock here and here, piece there and there, that's all big one lump, and you can see there, look, there's the lime. So they put the lime straight on top of the rock and then started building the house on top of that part of the rock. So I was thinking, let's have a, I'll keep you out of the sun. So that's currently our trench, exactly where the shadow is actually as the sun comes round. So this is our current trench. This is still a build-up of soil, and the hard standing that was uncovered when the farmer neighbour number 2 scraped it all back. We think that slopes down a little bit more. We don't know how much it slopes yet, but all we're thinking we're going to be able to do is once we get rid of this soil, is quite literally just dig small channels, small holes where we can, and then when it rains, water which does come down goes into those holes and drains away, rather than coming right up to the edge of the house. Now that this is as low as the foundations, the top of the foundations, we're hoping the water won't get sucked into the walls as much as it has been. Where it's drying out now, like I say, it's a great indicator of what this job's actually going to do. You can see the difference along here. They're actually the stones which are the base of the wall, so you can see they are drying out, and that's going to stop rising damp, or help stop rising damp.
Oh, that reminds me actually, just pulling that little bit of ivy out. Somebody said in the comments, are you leaving the vegetation within the wall? And on a whole, no, unless it's so deeply embedded and quite tight in there that pulling it could cause some damage or things to fall. Then I'm leaving that in there. I cut off as much as I can, and most of it's dead. Last year we cut it at the base and then cut it, drilled some holes and put some weed killer in. So most of what's in here is dead anyway, if not all, but there's just a few. I'm trying to see the thinner ones. I don't think you can see. A bit thinner than that, like that one, I will take out if I can get to it. That should come out alright. But if they're thin and they're a long way in, because this went all the way through, so these could be starting here but could be going all the way through, and there could be bits that go up in there. So pulling them out I won't do. I'll cut off as much as I can, but on a whole, like I said, it's pretty much dead. So I'm hoping it's dead at the bottom. I'm hoping that that's the end of it. There it is. Pain to repair. Look at what this does. So it will go in one way, sort itself out in the gap, come back out and carry on growing up the road, up the wall. But that's what it does. Look at that. It's an amazing plant, really. Not a nice plant for walls and trees, I suppose, but definitely not for walls. Not if you want them to stay standing anyway. But yeah, but that obviously hadn't really gone into the wall anywhere other than in that joint. made itself the mortar, basically. Pushes all the mortar out and replaces the mortar with itself. And that's why it's really quite scary taking some of this out. And the other reason why we've left it in place until we get to it. But these aren't loose, but there are lots that once the ivy comes out it is loose. Another reason, I don't know if you will have noticed, but let me tilt the camera up a little bit, up the top, and if you'd have seen buildings like this before, they'll have a concrete, I don't know what it's called, coping, capping, not sure, but that gets poured over the galvanised tin roof to hold it in place. And we've left ours on, or what was left of it once the roof fell in, we've left it on. This up here is the concrete. Now, the reason why we've left it on at the moment, or what's left of it left on, is just to keep as much in place whilst I'm doing this. And then once I've repaired the majority, we'll take that off. But I'll just kick my bottle over. Right, I showed you this the other day, but what I didn't show you is this old mortar. That's lime, and that's beneath the concrete. So we're guessing that this is a lot older. This concrete was done 1936, we think, because of the bit that was swinging when the roof fell in. So we're thinking this is a lot older, that's holding all the stones in. But you can see why we're not taking it off at the moment. Once all of the main body of it's done, we'll take it off, and then we'll repair and get it all level for getting the roof back on.
Pre-cut, isn't it?
Well, mostly, looking at it. At the bend, yeah. Snippers.
That's what they are.
Snippers,
Little
yeah.
sniffies.
They snip. They snip. These are. Move concrete.
Okay. Oh, it will have. Yeah, it
Yeah,
might
but
have
don't wiggle it then.
might have given it a
Piece.
yeah.
Let me snip that one because it's
Yeah, go on.
pulling other stuff and I'll stand back because this I always smash myself in the face.
Yes. So that's a little bit more safely removed for Dawn, so Dawn can carry on working her magic
Try and get this.
on that.
Yep.
I've got a little bit of sweeping to do out the front, and that will be me done for today because I'm chilly.
It is chilly. I went in. I've got a long sleeve top on, and normally I'm in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
No matter the weather.
Cardi.
And a cardi.
Yeah. And I've been in the sun out the front, and it is still chilly.
Yeah.
There was frost on the car this morning.
The windscreen was iced.
Oh yeah, it was more than frost.
Yeah, it was more
Yeah,
than
it was
frost.
iced.
Yeah, the windscreen was iced.
Yeah. But it's... What day is it?
Friday.
Friday. So we've been out, we've done the shopping, we've come back, we've done some bits and pieces. Thank you so much for watching. As we say every week, we really do appreciate
We do.
the fact that you watch. We're not sure why you watch, but we do appreciate it. And we will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye.